Cops attacks young black family. Turns out the father is a Delta Force. It's a quiet Saturday evening in suburban Atlanta. Marcus Johnson, a decorated Delta Force operator, is coming home from the grocery store with his wife Sarah and their 2 young children, 7-year-old Maya and 5-year-old Caleb. They're driving through their own neighborhood, the same streets they've called home for 3 years. Marcus has served 4 tours overseas, protecting American interests, earning commendations for valor, and leading some of the most dangerous missions our military has ever undertaken. But tonight, none of that matters. Tonight, he's just a black father driving home with his family. The red and blue lights flash behind them. Marcus's heart sinks because he knows this drill. He's been pulled over 6 times in the past 2 years in this same neighborhood. Each time, he's been respectful, compliant, and professional. Each time, he's walked away frustrated but grateful that nothing escalated. But tonight feels different. Tonight, there are 2 patrol cars. Before we continue with this incredible story of courage, justice, and the power of standing up for what's right, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because stories like this need to be heard, and your support helps us continue bringing you content that matters. Now, back to Marcus and his family. As he pulls over, Marcus immediately turns on his interior light and places his hands on the steering wheel. He turns to Sarah and whispers, "Record everything." Sarah discreetly starts recording on her phone. The kids sense the tension. Maya asks, "Daddy, why are we stopping?" Marcus forces a smile. "Just a routine stop, sweetheart. Everything's going to be okay." The first officer approaches, flashlight blazing directly into Marcus's eyes. Officer Bradley, according to his name tag, has been on the force for 8 years. He's built a reputation for being aggressive, particularly in traffic stops. "License and registration," he demands, his hand resting on his weapon. Marcus slowly reaches for his wallet, narrating every movement. "I'm reaching for my wallet in my back pocket. My registration is in the glove compartment." "Keep your hands where I can see them," Bradley barks, even though Marcus is moving deliberately and safely. Sarah's hands are shaking as she holds the phone, but she keeps recording. The second officer, Martinez, positions himself on the passenger side. Unlike Bradley, Martinez seems uncomfortable with the situation. He's newer to the force, only 2 years in, and something about this stop doesn't feel right to him. "Do you know why I stopped you?" Bradley asks. Marcus responds calmly, "No, officer. I was driving the speed limit, used my signals, and followed all traffic laws." Bradley's demeanor shifts. "Are you questioning my judgment? I stopped you because you were driving suspiciously." Marcus knows this is code. He's heard it before. Driving while black in his own neighborhood. "Sir, I live 3 blocks from here. I was coming home from the grocery store with my family." Marcus gestures to the grocery bags visible in the back seat. Bradley's voice rises. "Step out of the vehicle. Now." Sarah's breath catches. This is escalating quickly. Marcus looks at his wife, then at his children who are now visibly scared. "Officer, can you please tell me what I've done wrong? I have my 2 young children in the car." "I said get out of the car." Bradley's hand moves to his weapon. Marcus knows he has no choice. As he steps out, he keeps his hands visible and continues speaking calmly. "I'm a veteran, officer. I've served 4 tours overseas. I'm not resisting. I'm complying with your orders." Bradley seems unimpressed, possibly even more agitated. "I don't care what you are. Turn around and put your hands on the car." This is where the situation takes a turn that no one, especially Officer Bradley, expected. As Marcus places his hands on the vehicle, he notices something. A small tattoo on Officer Martinez's wrist. It's a military insignia. More specifically, it's a ranger's tattoo. Marcus makes a calculated decision. "Officer Martinez, I served with the 75th Ranger Regiment before joining Delta Force. I see your tattoo. Martinez's eyes widen. He knows exactly what Delta Force represents. These are the elite of the elite, the soldiers who undertake the most classified and dangerous missions. But Bradley interrupts. I don't care if you're a Navy SEAL. You're getting searched. He begins an aggressive pat-down, far more invasive than necessary. Sarah continues recording, her voice shaking as she narrates what's happening. My husband is being searched aggressively. He's complying with all orders. Our children are crying. Marcus endures the search, but his patience is wearing thin. When Bradley starts going through his wallet, taking out credit cards and examining them one by one, Marcus realizes this has gone too far. Officer, I've complied with every request. I've been respectful and cooperative. You've searched me and found nothing. My children are terrified. What exactly am I being detained for? Bradley's face flushes red. You're being detained because I say you're being detained. And if you don't like it, you can file a complaint. That's when Marcus makes his move. Not a physical move, but a strategic one. He looks directly at Officer Martinez and says, Officer Martinez, I need you to call your supervisor. I'm requesting a supervisor on scene immediately. Martinez nods and reaches for his radio, but Bradley stops him. We don't need a supervisor. We're handling this. Marcus's voice remains calm but firm. Officer Martinez, as a fellow veteran, I'm asking you to call your supervisor. This stop has exceeded reasonable bounds, and I'm exercising my right to have a supervisor present. The standoff continues for several minutes. Bradley is clearly frustrated that his authority is being challenged. Marcus remains calm, drawing on his military training. Finally, Martinez makes the call. Dispatch, we need a supervisor at our location. Within minutes, Sergeant Williams arrives on scene. Williams is a 20-year veteran, African-American, and someone with a reputation for fairness. As Williams approaches, Marcus makes another strategic decision. He identifies himself fully. Sergeant Williams, I'm Master Sergeant Marcus Johnson, Delta Force, stationed at Fort Bragg. I was driving home with my family when I was pulled over. I've complied with every request, but this stop has lasted over 30 minutes with no clear violation cited. Williams's demeanor immediately changes. He knows exactly what it means to be Delta Force. These aren't just soldiers. They're America's most elite warriors. He approaches Marcus with respect. Master Sergeant, I apologize for the extended stop. Can you tell me what happened here? Marcus, still maintaining his composure, explains the situation. Williams reviews the dashcam footage and quickly realizes there was no legitimate reason for the stop. He speaks privately with Bradley, whose story keeps changing. First, it was suspicious driving. Then it was speeding. Then it was failure to signal. None of it holds up under scrutiny. What happens next is what makes this story truly powerful. Williams doesn't just end the stop. He takes action. He apologizes to Marcus and his family. He acknowledges that the stop was without merit. And most importantly, he initiates an investigation into Bradley's conduct. It turns out this isn't Bradley's first questionable stop. There have been 17 complaints filed against him in the past 2 years, all involving African-American drivers, all dismissed without investigation. But Marcus doesn't stop there. Using his position and connections, he brings national attention to the pattern of harassment in his community. He works with civil rights organizations, provides testimony, and helps implement new training protocols. His military background gives him credibility and access that many victims of police harassment don't have. The investigation reveals a troubling pattern. Bradley had been targeting African-American drivers in affluent neighborhoods, using pretextual stops to harass families. His supervisors had ignored multiple complaints. The department was forced to implement new policies, including mandatory body cameras, civilian oversight, and bias training. Officer Martinez becomes a key witness in the investigation. His military background and respect for Marcus's service compel him to testify truthfully about what he witnessed. He describes Bradley's behavior as unprofessional and potentially discriminatory. His testimony is crucial in building the case for reform. The story doesn't end with punishment for Bradley, though he is eventually terminated and faces federal civil rights charges. The real victory is systemic change. The department implements new policies for traffic stops, establishes a civilian review board, and requires officers to articulate specific violations before conducting stops. Marcus's case becomes a catalyst for broader conversations about police accountability. He testifies before Congress about his experience, highlighting how even a decorated veteran isn't immune to harassment. His story resonates because it challenges the narrative that compliance guarantees safety. The most powerful moment comes 6 months later. Marcus is speaking at a police training academy, sharing his story with new recruits. He talks about the importance of treating every citizen with dignity and respect. He explains how his military training taught him to de-escalate situations, not escalate them. Officer Martinez is in the audience, now a training instructor himself, using Marcus's story to teach new officers about proper procedures. Marcus's children, Maya and Caleb, eventually understand what happened that night. Marcus uses it as a teaching moment about standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. He explains that his military service wasn't just about protecting America overseas, but about protecting American values at home. The broader impact of Marcus's story extends beyond one department. His case is cited in federal legislation aimed at police reform. His testimony helps pass measures requiring better training, accountability, and oversight. He becomes an advocate for both veterans' rights and civil rights, bridging communities that don't always see eye to eye. What makes this story truly inspiring is how Marcus channeled his anger into action. He could have filed a complaint and moved on. Instead, he used his platform to create lasting change. He showed that being a hero isn't just about what you do in combat, but about how you stand up for justice in your own community. The relationship between Marcus and Officer Martinez evolves into something unexpected. Martinez becomes an advocate for reform within the department. He credits Marcus with showing him what true leadership looks like. Together, they develop training programs that bridge the gap between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Marcus's story also highlights the importance of documentation. Sarah's recording becomes crucial evidence, not just for their case, but for establishing patterns of behavior. It demonstrates why civilian oversight and transparency are so important in policing. The economic impact of the case is significant too. The department faces federal oversight, costly settlements, and mandatory reforms. It demonstrates that discriminatory policing isn't just morally wrong, it's financially unsustainable. But perhaps the most important lesson from Marcus's story is about courage. It takes courage to stand up to authority, even when you're in the right. It takes courage to turn a personal injustice into a platform for broader change. And it takes courage to work within the system to reform it, rather than simply condemning it. Marcus continues to serve his country, but now his mission includes ensuring that all Americans are treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. He works with police departments across the country, sharing his story and helping implement reforms. His military background gives him unique credibility in these conversations. The story of Marcus Johnson reminds us that heroes come in many forms. Sometimes they're soldiers fighting overseas. Sometimes they're fathers protecting their families. And sometimes they're citizens standing up for justice in their own communities. Marcus's story is all three. This incredible journey from a routine traffic stop to nationwide reform shows us the power of standing up for what's right. It demonstrates that change is possible when good people refuse to accept injustice. And it proves that sometimes the most important battles are fought not on foreign soil, but on the streets of our own neighborhoods. If this story moved you, if it inspired you to think about justice and accountability in your own community, please share it. Hit that like button, leave a comment about your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that matter. Together, we can amplify voices that need to be heard and support the ongoing fight for justice and equality. Thank you for watching, and remember, we all have the power to make a difference.